Welcome to Morpheus, the Boundless. And I know it's not Morpheus, but I forgot to look it up before the video started. So it's going to be Morpheus for this video. And then as far as our opening hand goes, yes, we're going to keep on this one. I like it. We got Bloom Tender, Birds of Paradise, got 2 lands. We got Soul of the Harvest. And yeah, more... I'm telling you, I'm going to butcher it because whenever I try to sit there and sound it out while I'm recording, I end up adding a bunch of syllables to it. So for this video, it's going to be Morpheus, the Boundless. And yeah, I don't know. I just don't want to get a bunch of comments saying, hey, you can tell me how to say it, and then we'll go from there. It'd be pretty good. I think what we want to lead off with is let's just go and lead off with Overgrown Tomb. We're going to pay 2 life. Let's go for Birds of Paradise. That way we can at least get down any sort of colored source that we need. We have 3 visits next turn. Then we can kind of see what sort of colored sources we might need to grab. But we're playing Morpheus, the Boundless, the elemental tribal leader right here. But yeah, this is Elemental Tribal. Really excited about... Oh, and we run into Mana Confluence. So let's go for 3 visits. Yeah, because we go 3 visits. That's going to allow us to go for Bloom Tender. And we're going to be off to a really nice start. And let's get this popped out. So we do need to get a red source at some point. So let's go and grab Taiga. Taiga Uppercut. And then we go for Misty. Let's go and get Misty. We're going to crack Misty. Get this popped out. I think a blue-red source would be good. So let's go ahead and grab Volcanic Island. And then we go for Bloom Tender. And we'll just have all the mana ramp at this point. So we're going to get down Bloom Tender. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn. So we're playing Morpheus, the Boundless, the official leader of the Elementals. And I'll kind of jump into the deck here in a second and kind of explain what we've got going on. But as it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Then spells of the chosen type you cast cost Wooburg less to cast. This effect only reduces the amount of colored mana you pay. Then other creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1. So, pretty cool. And they run into Fist of Suns. That's going to be some free spells right there. I like it. So I guess at this point, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I don't mind going for Fist of Suns. That'll be a really good option for us. So let's go 1, 2, 3. And with Fist of Suns, I'm pretty sure that you can basically just, just choose to pay Wooburg and get some free spells, which is always nice. And then we'll keep our fingers crossed with the land drop and go for Morophon or Morpheus, and then we'll be good to go. So play gets baby Tatyova. Let's make her normal Tatyova. There we go. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life and draw a card. Now, if you've never played against Tatyova, Tatyova is really a really strong commander. You know, being able to have a life gain and a card draw off of a land drop is just... It's just silly sometimes. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's not going to be enough for our commander. So let's just go. Let's get Living Twister down. We're going to cast it. It's going to be red, red, and then green. We do have Life from the Loam in here. So with this being an elemental deck, one of the things that we're trying to... Oh, going past turn. We found a friend of the channel in Boxcar. So shout out to Boxcar. Hopefully you get to see this video and he gets to make it to the channel. But yeah, as far as this deck goes, this is an elemental deck. So a lot of the things that we do have in here, elementals, sometimes they kind of care about lands. You can see we've got Living Twister, and we do have Midlothian in here. We do have Omnath, Locus of Mana. No, excuse me. Well, I think we do. Yeah, we do have Omnath, Locus of Mana, and we also do have Omnath, Locus of Rage. So angry and normal Omnath. And so basically we're just trying to get Morpheus down and get some of these elementals going, kind of go from there. I didn't really know where to take this commander. And that was kind of the weird... Ooh, Animar, Soul of the Elements. And now I think with Bloom Tender on the battlefield... Actually, yeah, I think we do have enough mana for Morpheus. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to go for... I completely forgot about getting down Living Twister, making that a little bit. So I might have missed that earlier, and if I did, I do apologize. Completely forgot about Bloom Tender. I always think it's just like a little bit of a like a mana dork. So we're gonna name Elemental for Morpheus, and then let's go and cast Soul of the Harvest. We're gonna cast that with Fist of the Sun. This is gonna be free. Oh, look at that! And we're gonna cast this with Fist of the Suns. That's gonna give us a +1/+1. All right, so we're going to cash in another card draw with Soul of the Harvest, and so we do have protection from white and black with Animar, but it's not... Yes, definitely when you use that ability. Our opponent just said, oh no. They said, in the chat. Yeah, that's not really what you want to see. Let's go ahead and swing in with Living Twister for a 3/6. At least going to knock them down to 27, and I don't know, it's kind of fun to imagine that Twister swinging across at our opponent. A little green tornado, and then knock them down to 27. But yeah, as far as this deck goes, it is elemental. I wanted to kind of go obscure tribal with our commander, but at this point, I was just like kind of looking for different things to do, and I was like, well, there's a lot, because the thing about our commander is at 7 mana, it's a little clunky to be a universal commander, because if you go for, smaller creatures, let's go and push in That's going to be, yeah, I guess we'll go and swing it with the crew. That's going to be Living Twister. We're going to swing our commander in. All right, opponent's going to crack Wooded Foothills, so let's see if they have any sort of action before we decide to swing in. Okay, so opponents need to go for Cryptic Command and see what modes they... Yeah, why they did a full art Cryptic Command? This is beyond me. But they go for Cryptic Command. I guess it's going to be draw a card and then maybe just send that back to the hand. And at that point, yeah, that's fine because we can just recast it again. So yeah, that's going to send our commander back to the hand. Oh, and they choose tap down the creature. So yeah, they didn't... It didn't say that in the actual chat, so that does make sense. Okay, so it's going to tap down all of our creatures. It's going to buy our opponent an extra turn. So at this point, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess we just go Thran Dynamo. Yeah, I kind of like going Thran Dynamo because that's going to give us the option of next turn of just recasting Morpheus from the Matrix, and then we can go from there. But yeah, you know, with Morpheus being a universal tribal commander, one of the downsides is that he does cost 7 mana. So, you know, if you want to do something cool like clerics or nomads, by the time you get him down, he's just a +1/+1 style commander. Uh-oh, you got Consecrated Sphinx. We definitely want to go for that Anguish Unmaking. So what we're going to do with Consecrated Sphinx, oh, never mind. We don't have the mana for it. It's like, well, we can go for Anguish Unmaking. That'll stop it. But, yeah, with that Lightning Grease on there, that's not going to be good. So let's see what. But hitting Fist of Suns is definitely something that we can really be thankful for. That really kind of helps power this deck out. So now the good thing about our opponent sending back Morpheus back to our hand is that we get to recast it and cash in a card draw. So let's go for, I think it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think either way, Bloom Tinder's going to tap down for 6. Yeah, so we go for Fist of Suns. Let's go and cast that with Fist of Suns. So we're going to get a +1 counter on Animar. We're going to have Morpheus enter the battlefield. We're going to name Elemental. Let's give him all +1/+1. That's going to be an additional card draw off Soul of the Harvest. Read the Bones. And then, oh yeah, I forgot about... Oh, Consecrated Sphinx is such a weird commander to play. I mean, not commander, but just such a clunky card to play against. I hate Consecrated Sphinx. So we go Anguish, and actually now that I think about it, if we go Anguish Unmaking on Lightning Greaves and then Read the Bones, Shriekmaw on Consecrated Sphinx, we'll probably end up doing that next turn. Yeah, I think we'll end up doing that. So let's do this. Let's just go and push in with Living Twister. We're going to swing with Soul of the Harvest. And we'll swing in, yeah, we'll do that. So swing with Living Twister, because even if they block with Consecrated Sphinx, they might be worried about some sort of random damage spell. So maybe we can get him for 3 damage. But yeah, if we had done that turn differently, instead of getting down Morpheus, what we could have done is Anguish Unmaking on Lightning Greaves and gone for Shriekmaw. So I think we're going to try to do that next turn. Maybe we didn't have enough mana, but well, yeah, we're definitely going to go for that next turn. That way we can at least get rid of that extra card draw, because with card draw, you know, with Consecrated Sphinx and Tatyova on the battlefield, you start making some land drops. You have a Boro on the battlefield, you pay that 1 mana to send that land back and just kind of start cashing in card draw. It's kind of clunky sometimes, a little rough. So the only downside with us kind of missing that, or at least me missing that line of play last turn, is that we can still go Anguish Unmaking during our upkeep with Lightning Greaves, but we're going to have to evoke Shriekmaw, so that still gives them an additional card draw. So, oh, but yeah, with Morpheus, you know, that was one of the downsides, is that, you know, by the time you get it down, if you're building something obscure, a lot of it's going to be lower converted mana cost, and it's just kind of hard to have a very useful tribal commander out of the command zone like that. So I wanted to kind of build a tribal deck that had a lot of high converted mana cost creatures. You know, being able to just cast Muldrotha for 3 mana, I love that. So, but the cool thing about Morpheus is that we can, you know, we're not stuck on one tribe. You know, you can pretty much build whatever sort of tribe you want. So that's going to be pretty cool. The only downside with them having a bunch of card draw last turn is they do have an option for maybe counter magic against Anguish Unmaking. And so, yeah, let's see if we can't. Let's go for Anguish Unmaking on Lightning Greaves. So we're going to go Anguish Unmaking. The reason we're doing this during our upkeep is just to kind of see if they've got any sort of action. All right, there we go. You know, because I'd hate for them to draw into a counter spell once we finally get rid of Consecrated Sphinx. So that wouldn't during our upkeep. So at least that puts us on the option of going for Shriekmaw next turn. In fact, let's go and go for that. So let's go Evoke with Shriekmaw. And actually what we can do is we can just cast it. I forgot it's an elemental. We can just cast it with Fist of the Sun. So we're going to get that +1 counter on Animar. Enters the battlefield. We're going to be able to destroy Consecrated Sphinx. And we actually get this Streak Maul to stick around on the battlefield. So that's going to be really nice. That's going to be an additional card draw. We're going to take care of Consecrated Sphinx. We're going to cash in one more card draw. Draw into Nature's Claim. Okay, that's a good thing to have. We'll go ahead and cast Fist of Sun, an embodiment with Fist of Sun. And we'll go for one more card draw, Harbor. We'll go and get Harbor down. And let's go for Read the Bones, just to kind of just dig a little bit deeper with our library. So we're going to tap down Birds of Paradise. Let's go and put that on the bottom for right now, because right now we're just looking for elementals, just to kind of keep this chain going. Utter End, that is actually really good. So we'll tap down Bloom Tender. The only downside is I think we can actually go for Nature's Lore. And we should, yeah, there we go. We can grab a Savannah off of Nature's Lore, have that enter the battlefield. Let's go for Utter End on Kefnet. We're going to get the Exile off of Kefnet, and that's going to allow us to swing in uncontested. So there we go. All right. Really good showing. You know, it did help that we got off to a crazy start with Fist of Suns against our opponent. Our opponent just said rude. Well, the same thing with Consecrated Sphinx. Let's go and swing in. That's going to be 12. That's going to be 18. That's going to be 21. So that's going to be enough to swing across and close it out. So good game to our opponent. We'll see if we can't play another game really quick. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Morophon, the Boundless. As far as our opening hand goes, yes, we're going to keep on this one. I like it. We got Vindicate, we have Bloom Tender, we have a little bit of utility in Bloodwater Entity. And of course, shout out to Eli. We've got Heroic Intervention. Yeah, let's go lead off with Misty. That way we can grab a green source. And then we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. So we're playing a Morophon, the Boundless, the official leader of the elementals for this deck. Changeling, as Morophon enters the battlefield, choose a creature type, then spells of the chosen type you cast cost Woodbreak less to cast. This effect reduces only the amount of colored mana you pay. Then creatures you control that you chose get +1/+1. So basically we have Magic's very first universal tribal commander. Pretty cool. Playing against Marchesa, the Black Rose. Dethrone. Let's go and crack Misty in response to that. And let's go for Spell Pierce. Gotcha. Didn't play around Spell Pierce, did you? I wish we had it. That'd be pretty cool. So yeah, we do need to grab a... yeah, we'll go and grab Breeding Pool. I think that'd be good. I have Breeding Pool enter the battlefield tapped and then kick it back over to our turn. So playing against Queen Marchesa. Or not Queen Marchesa, but Marchesa the Black Rose, which I'll cover in a second. Let's go for Bloom Tender. Yeah, I think that'd be good. Yeah, that'll kind of get us towards a Morophon. So let's go Volcanic Island. Let's go Bloom Tender. And then anything else, kick it back over to our opponent. So playing against Marchesa the Black Rose, dethrone. Other creatures you control have dethroned. Then whenever a creature you control with a +1 counter on it dies, return that card to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step. So let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you want to build your very own tribal deck, whatever that tribal deck may be, whether it's nomads or druids or elves with Morophon, hey, they've got you covered. So head on over there and then get whatever sort of cards you may need. And also shout out to inkgaming.com. You can use coupon code JOLT to get 10% off your order and help the channel at the same time, whether you market for a playmat or a dice bag or a t-shirt, which are coming soon. Let's go Watery Grave. In fact, I'm going to try to work on it this weekend, but the being Father's Day, it's going to be a little bit clunky. Let's go for Smoke Braid. I think I kind of like that because with Morophon being a changeling, it is an elemental. We can actually, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's going to be 7 mana. So we can end up getting down Morophon pretty quick. I kind of like that. Anything else? Kick it back over there. But yes, shout out to inkgaming.com. And also, I do have a couple playmat designs. If you want to check that out, go over there, type in Jolt539 into the search bar. You can see some of my playmat designs. Got some cool ones over there. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So if you'd like to contribute to my Patreon, there's a link down in the description below. You can get your name at the beginning or the ending of the credits, and you get to choose whatever little magic art you want for the ending credits. So that's pretty cool to do that little art. And if you can't contribute to it, hey, no problem at all. Just tell somebody about the channel. I would greatly appreciate that. Or, just spread the word. Oh, lightning bolts on smoke. Yeah, that's a good thing because we'd have a Morophon pretty quick with that. So totally get that. Let's go Chromatic Lantern. Yeah, because that's basically at this point, we just want to get ahead on mana as quickly as possible. So we go for Marsh Flats and then pass it over our opponent. But yeah, now it's officially free time. We can have some fun. As far as this deck goes, I decided to go Elemental with my first build of Morophon, simply just because Morophon's a little bit clunky to be a universal tribal commander. You know, you can build pretty much any tribal deck, but by the time, you know, if you're going kind of low to the ground tribal, there's just sometimes to where by the time you get him down, him or her, Morophon, you know, that's just boundless. There's probably no gender for him or her, for them. But by the time you get him down, it's 7 mana. You know, it's gonna be a little hard to kind of make stuff work with that, or at least can take advantage of it. And so that's why I kind of wanted to start with a tribe that at least had a really high converted mana cost. That way to help us kind of power out. Once we finally get down Morophon, and then being able to get a free, you know, Midlothian for 3 manas. Oh, feels pretty good. All right, so we run into Flamekin Harbinger. And let's check our mana at this point. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 6 mana. We go for Flamekin. That's going to be 1, 2. That's still going to put us on 6 mana. So I think at this point, with Dethrone on the battlefield, yeah, we can just basically just leave up Vindicate to kind of stop whatever they got going. But if we end up going Flamekin, I kind of like that. So let's go and crack Marsh Flats, because that's going to give us an extra mana from Bloom Tender. It's going to make this Morophon just a little bit easier for next turn. Now, we do have Chromatic Lantern, but we want to be a little bit careful. So let's go and grab Savannah. That way we don't lose access to white mana. So let's go for Flamekin. That's going to be 1 red mana. And have that enter the battlefield. Search your library for an elemental card. Yes, definitely want to use that ability. And what kind of helps us go next turn? Because we can just straight up just cast Animar. That's good protection from white and black. That might end up helping us out. I think at this point, with Smoke Braider and these Misty, these land drops out of the graveyard, I kind of like going Muldrotha. I think that would be pretty fun. Or we could go just straight up just go for Maelstrom Wanderer. That's going to be a Cascade option. Yeah, I think we need to do that. So let's go Muldrotha. I kind of like having Muldrotha on top. Do we want to end up going for Vindicate on Marchesa just to kind of set them back? And actually, if we want to, I think the almost might be the better option is if we end up going for Vindicate on Skull Clamp. They don't really have a way to take advantage of it. You know, let's just hold on to Vindicate at this point right now. We've got Universal Remover. We don't want to just burn it super quick. You know, there's not really anything they can do with Skull Clamp right now. If they had a lot of tokens going, we might end up going for that. But let's just see what sort of board state they can get developed. But yeah, you know, outside of this deck, you know, it's just a lot of fun to be able to get down Morophon and then just have a really good reduced cost off something like Angry Omnath. We have you saw we had Maelstrom Wanderer in here. This is also kind of a ramp deck. So once we get this ramp going, you know, we can just tap out for something like Hydroid Krasis or Pull from Tomorrow. If we, you know, the other cool thing about this deck is that we have stuff like Royal Elemental. Royal, not like the Royal King, but like a wave roiling. But anyway, we have that card, so once we make land drops, we can gain control of creatures. And so that's just kind of one of those cards where it's nice to have it. But let's say we have Muldrotha on the battlefield, we have Titania, we have Omnath, so we're making all these land drops, we have Life from the Loam. So it's just sometimes we can end up with a really nice board state depending on what you've got going on. So let's see what they're tapping out for. Opponent's going to go for Jace the Mind Sculptor. So probably end up going for Vindicate next turn. I think that would be pretty good. Let's see what they end up going for. They're going to go for the Brainstorm. Actually, they're going to go Fate Seal for us. So they can look that on the bottom. Permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Oh, that's a bummer. All right, so they're going to be able to Fate Seal Muldrotha. That's a really nice play with that +1. Okay, and that's going to go to our end step, and there's not much else we can do. So I think we definitely want to take care of Jace. Now, they're completely tapped out. And then we run into Life from the Loam. Well, that's pretty good. We can still keep making the land drops. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to be just enough for Morophon. But I think at this point, we can just kind of go for a value play. Let's go Life from the Loam, Misty. That way we can at least make the land drop for the turn. And then we can go Marsh Flats. Let's go for Vindicate on Jace. And then since we do have 2 mana, I think at this point we'll just go and crack, well actually we'll just tap down Marsh Flats for blue. And let's go for Bloodwater Entity. Yeah, I kind of like doing that because that's going to allow us to bring back Vindicate. And if we put it on top, we've still got the land drop to make with Misty. And we're going to be tapping out for, yeah, I like that. So let's put Vindicate on top. And we're not going to be able to dredge next turn because we don't want that to go in the graveyard just yet. But at least that's going to give us another option to kind of destroy something. Yes, definitely want to use that ability. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn. Now, we are shields down on Heroic Intervention, so hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us. And we're going to swing it for 1. Yeah, I guess so. Well, swing it for 1, knock him down to 27, then we're going to go and pass the turn. So, one of the things that we do want to get going is we do get some sort of high-impact elemental. So if we can draw into that sometime soon, that would definitely be good. We're doing just a little bit of utility setting up. I was trying to hold on to Bloodwater and, maybe something like Flamekin to, once we finally get down Morophon, we can get that little bit of that reduced cost. But, with them getting down Jace, we kind of needed to do that. And being able to go for Vindicate Jace and then still get a creature and bring that back to our hand, or at least technically our hand, put it back on top of our library, I felt pretty good about that. Opponent's going to go for Rakdos, Blood Witch, First Strike, Haste, 4/4. Each of the creature you control with a +1 counter on has Haste. So that's going to be them swinging in for 9. That's going to be a pretty good chunk of damage. Do we want to stop this with Bloodwater Entity? So we could potentially sequence it to where we get a prowess trigger. Yeah, we'll go and take 9 on this one, because we can set up Heroic Intervention next turn to go for a little bit of a fog attack, so that's not the end of the world. And then Bloomtender is going to be tapping for 3 mana, which is going to help us kind of get that reduced cost on Morophons, because it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to be just enough for Heroic Intervention, so that'll work out. Oh, and our opponent goes for Chaos Warp on Bloomtender. Okay, so we kind of got a little bit ahead on mana. We still ended up hitting a land off of that, which is nice. And we don't want to dredge Life from the Loam. Oh yeah, and excuse me, with Chaos Warp, that allowed them to, shuffle the library and get rid of our opponents attacking the top part of our library. That's pretty sweet. Now with Tatyova, I'm almost tempted just to go Tatyova and start drawing a bunch of cards. I think that's going to be pretty good. Tatyova is one of those cards that really allows us to just get some really nice value. So, in fact, let's go Volcanic Island. We'll leave up that Marsh Flats. So we're going to have Tatyova enter the battlefield. We're going to go Misty. That's going to be an additional card draw. And I guess technically we could Life from the Loam, but I want to see if we can't get a little bit of action. So let's go and crack Misty. We're going to have another land into the battlefield. We're going to grab Underground Sea. Let's go and crack Marsh Flats. We'll grab another dual source that comes into play on tap. We'll grab Tundra. So we're going to gain 1 more life. That's going to be Arid Mesa, and we'll go for 1 more draw, and then we'll probably Life from the Loam next turn, because that's, Croson Grip. So if we have Coalition Relic or Croson Grip on Skull Clamp, that'll make it a little bit better. That's going to be Prowess. Yeah, I think I kind of like doing that. So let's do this. So let's just go and pass the turn, because we've got Croson Grip on Skull Clamp. That's going to give Prowess on Bloodwater Entity, and then we can block on Marchesa, kind of get that commander tax going. And I think that'll be pretty good for us. And then we still have a fetch land in the hand with Arid Mesa. So might dredge Life from the Loam. If we don't like what we draw for the turn, we can at least go for Arid Mesa land drop. And then still have that option to dredge it from Life from the Loam. But you can definitely see where, just throwing in just a little bit of a utility package in here. We do have Midlothian. So, Pachuca Bog. I was looking at the graveyard. And then it got exiled. Okay, so we're going to miss out on Life from the Loam. But that's not the end of the world. Oh, that's a bummer. Yeah, there's just sometimes when you're doing commentary in these games where you're like looking at something on the screen, and like I was looking at Life from the Loam just to kind of talk about it, and it just went away, and I was like, what? And I look up and I see old big dumb Bajuka Bog coming down, so fortunately that happened. But I'm just going to go for Hellhole Flayer, Unleash, and then deals damage to target player or planeswalker. So let's see how they decide to, probably going to go for the Unleash with Hellhole. All right, that's going to be them swinging across. So let's do this. Let's make sure that Queen Marchesa is going to swing in, because we want to dodge that that Skull Clamp trigger. All right, so let's go Croson Grip on Skull Clamp. That's going to be Prowess for our Bloodwater Entity. Oh, and excuse me, with that Skull Clamp is doing +1/-1, so that's going to make it a 4/4 now. And since it does have a +1 counter on it, yeah, beginning of the next incept, we can't even make a trade on this one. So that's going to be 4, 8, that's going to be 12. Yeah, I guess we're just going to let this come across. We've still got Arid Mesa to deal some damage to gain a little bit of life next turn. But yeah, this is great plays by our opponent. There's 2 different times we've had stuff on top of our library. They've had Jace to kind of deal with that option. They also had Chaos Warp to deal with that option. So that was pretty good plays by our opponent. And unfortunately, if we get Midlothian down, maybe this is a different game. Oh, and then go for the throat. Goodness. It's like we've offended our opponent, but hey, this is Commander sometimes. That's the way it goes. So we run into Command Tower. We've got Heroic Intervention to fog out a turn. We can get down Morophon. Yeah, we might as well. But it's not looking good. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's still going to keep us off Heroic Intervention. So we go Command Tower. That's going to be Morophon. And we're going to choose Elemental, click OK, and that still gives us just enough mana to go for Heroic Intervention to buy us one more turn. So at this point, we're simply just going to go and pass the turn. We're pretty much in a bad spot right now, because now that these creatures have a +1 counter on it, even if we do block and get rid of one of them, they're still going to come back with that +1 counter. So at least we can buy ourselves an extra turn with Heroic Intervention. All right, so we're going to go Morophon, and I think on this one, what we need to do is block on Marchesa, block the Bloodwater, and then we'll block on Blood Witch. All right, there we go. Click OK. Let's go for this Heroic Intervention. That's going to buy us one more turn. Just get a little bit of a fog effect, and let's see what they're tapping out for. Oh, yeah, and they go for Flayer. Target player Planeswalker. Yeah, that's going to get it. Even if we go for Heroic Intervention, that's going to bring it back onto the battlefield. And, yeah, it's going to be 4 damage to us. So, good game to our opponent. They're going to close this one out. You could see where we tried to get stuff going with the deck. We tried to put Muldrotha on top. There's a couple different things, but our opponent played this game beautifully. And the fact that they still had to go for the throat on Tatyova to kind of get rid of that extra card draw and life gain from us. Well played by our opponent. Good game. Hopefully they see this video. And once again, it's going to remind me that I really need to build Marchesa, because you can just see just the value from being able to use Hellhole, Flayer, just different things like that. It's just such a good deck. So, hopefully you see this sometime in the near future. But good game to our opponent. And if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.